What I don't understand is the fact that he just started looking to have input in February. I mean, he's been there 16 years, and now he's starting to have input in February, and he's frustrated because he wasn't able to have the input that he wanted to. So why hasn't this been an issue before? Why hasn't this been important to him before? He's been great for a long time, and it doesn't totally make sense, and it's not consistent with what he's saying. And I think this is deeper. I think this is more about the fact that he wants a commitment from the organization financially, not one that is, he makes him the highest paid player, but it's not guaranteed money. He wants to know he's going to be there, and he wants to know that he's not going to be able to be cut. I think that's the real root of this issue. These other things that come into play, these are secondary issues and not really the primary thing. And when you start going down that rabbit hole, because everything affects his job. Does he want input on the punter? Does he want input on the back end of the roster? Does he at what point is the cutoff for his input? And is he going to be in there for the discussions on how each contract decision affects other contracts? Is he going to sit through that, or is it just like, hey, Aaron, you want this guy? Yeah, no. Like it's not defined. It's not clear, and it doesn't seem completely upfront.
I think it is, Coach. I mean, you talk about, if you watch that press conference, it was 31 minutes and 39 seconds. He talked about a lot. One of the things he talked about was, he said, I want to make it clear, I was not in that conversation when Coach Matt LaFleur was hired. Now, I love Coach Matt, and we have a great relationship. I'm glad he's here, but I want to make it clear I was not a part of that discussion. Well, when I was in Chicago, one day I walked in the facility in the off season. It was a cold winter day. I think it was like in February or March, and February, we just let go of Lovie Smith, and I walked in to get a little treatment and a little workout, and I was going to jump in a hot tub, cold tub, in the sauna, and I see Jay Cutler there. I'm like, Jay, what are you doing here? I thought you would be back in Nashville. He said, well, the organization of McCaskey's asked me to stay here. I said, why they asked you to stay here? Because we have Coach Bruce Arians coming in. We have Coach Todd Bowles coming in. We also have a couple other guys coming in as well, and they want me to sit in on the meetings. Well, if Jay Cutler had that type of power, that seat at the table, then why didn't Aaron Rodgers have that seat as well, right? And then when you look at what is he asking for? Well, he wants to make decisions on the wide receiver position. Jay Kumerow, he talked about that. Why you let go Jay Kumerow? He's my guy. Right? Like, look at our connection. Look, the chemistry and the continuity that was built. And it's not all about who's the fastest, who's the toughest, and who can jump the highest. It's who can get the job done. And it's so much more to that. It's about, are you going to be where you're supposed to be when I need you to be there? There's so many ways to get that done. He also wants to have conversation about Jordy Nelson, James Jones, Randall Cobb, who is now coming back, the offensive line, that's the offensive coordinator. Those are the discussions he wants to be a part of. He doesn't care about the punter. He doesn't care about all those other things. Joy, what we're seeing right now is a shift in what we're calling the player. For so long, we've told our players, come in, do your job. Bill Belichick motto, right? It's legendary. Do your job. Well, as a player, what's your job as a wide receiver? To go out there, run, stop, catch the ball, be the yak daddy, make a couple guys move. Quarterback, same thing. Defensive lineman, same thing. Well, when you talk about player, now we're talking about a little bit more. We're talking about guys saying, you know what, I do care about, being a part of the discussion, and that's what we're seeing. We saw it this offseason in Seattle with Russell Wilson. We're seeing it now with Aaron Rodgers. So it's going to be interesting to see how things shape up over the next couple months and the next year or so.
So there's a lot to unpack here, but to Coach's point, I think that the genesis of Aaron Rodgers wanting to be involved in conversations regarding personnel began with the Jordan Love pick and them not bothering to tell him in any form of communication they were going to move up in the draft and take a quarterback after he just played in the NFC Championship game. So I believe that's the genesis for all of this drama. And I also believe that Aaron Rodgers is completely justified to be as insanely furious as he wants to be with the organization about that. Because it was disrespectful, it was mishandled, and oftentimes, as we all know in life, small communications can spiral into whole situations and drama, which is what we're dealing with now. As far as, the future of the players being more involved in personnel decisions, I think everyone kind of panics about that because at the end of the day, these conversations are reserved for the 1% of the 1%. We're talking about Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. The third string quarterback isn't going to start running into the front office demanding to help staff the team. You're going to have to be a Super Bowl level, consistently great, accredited player and likely the quarterback to even have these conversations or want to have these conversations or feel bold enough to demand to be a part of these conversations. I also don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to do contract negotiations and help pick the defense and special teams. I think he just wants to be solicited on guys that he is dependent on and that are dependent on him and make his job easier or just make him happy. I don't think he wants to deal with contracts and all of the whole other level that goes on in the front office. But sometimes just being asked, what do you think, goes a long way. And I think 100%. He's earned the right to do that. Right. And Tom Brady has changed the game when it comes to this because not only did he leave an organization where it was do your job, where it was company man, where it was fall in line, and go to a completely opposite culture and win a championship, but it was very transparent that he was involved in recruiting, in bringing in players, and that there was real collaboration. So if you're Russell Wilson, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're watching the success that Tom Brady is having after leaving the mothership, after leaving the Death Star, and going to a place that hadn't made the playoffs in 12 seasons and having that level of a success. There's going to be a little bit of envy, but there's also going to be a little bit of an eye-opening of, wait a minute, I have thoughts. I have things that I see on the field. I see what goes on in the locker room. I know the relationships between guys. My input is valuable. I bring something to the table. I should have a say in this, and also because it affects my career. It affects my legacy and my success. And I think collaboration in general is a good thing. When you have more voices, when you have more perspective, it doesn't mean you have to do what they say, but having open communication keeps things more calm. And when you're guys who are Aaron Rodgers, league MVP, Tom Brady, the greatest, most decorated player in NFL history, and Russell Wilson, who is a face of the league, I think it's fair to just listen to them. And Aaron Rodgers is right. Sometimes you got to break the rules for certain people, and he is certainly one of those people.
Yeah, so I think, Joy, you were talking mostly about Aaron Rodgers' need to be proactive or his desire to be proactive. When we talk about Tom Brady brought in Antonio Brown, he recruited Gio Bernard, he obviously brought Gronk back in. Leonard Fournette said he came over because Brady recruited him. So that's a very proactive recruitment that Aaron Rodgers said he wasn't being listened to, Coach. The other part of this is reactive. And, Coach, we've worked together for a long time, and you're a leader in your own right in both on and off the field. You know, one of the sort of tenets of leadership is no surprises. You have a meeting, you got a new team, whether you're a football coach or you're managing a group of orthodontists, and you say, hey, guys, no surprises. If we're running low on braces, I want to know about it. I don't want to be doing someone's braces and be like, hold on, there's no braces. No surprises at any point. So Aaron Rodgers mentioned two surprises, Jordan Love draft pick and cutting Jake Kumerow. To me, that seems like a basic leadership 101. When you move up one level of leadership of like, hey, Kevin, now you're managing people. Here's a friendly hint. No surprises. It works. Don't you think that he has a legit gripe that Packers seem to time and time again surprise him with things that like he's caught out of the blue?
Well, the Jordan Love situation could have been handled better, without a doubt. But he's a guy who got drafted to replace Brett Favre, so he understands that aspect of the business, and it worked out well for him. But they could have definitely handled that communication better. In terms of Kumerow, they could have handled that better too, and let him know. That's fine. But when you start talking about personnel decisions, it's not just as easy as, hey, do you want him or do you not want him? There's 53 guys involved. There's the future salary cap. There's the practice squad. There's all these other things. Brandon, would you be okay if your quarterback knew exactly what you made and how your salary worked and how your salary worked in relationship to every other player? Do you think all the players in the locker room are going to be okay if another player is involved in their contract specific stuff? Because in order to have those conversations in a meaningful way, they've got to be put in a context. It's just not, it's, do you want these players? And if you do, the following things happen. So I don't know how many guys would be excited about a player being involved in all their contract details.
Absolutely. First, it's public knowledge, so it's going to get out one way or another. Google it right now. How much does Aaron Rodgers make? How much does Russell Wilson make? And it's going to be there, which is a problem in my eyes anyway. It shouldn't be for the public, but it is. The other side of that is, and one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about this conversation, and I kind of get a little worked up about it, is it's because something I've been calling for years. When I was a player, I never understood why other players didn't stand up. So when we talk about, well, how are people going to accept Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson when they come back in the locker room? Well, they're always accepted because what we do as players, we isolate the business side of it. We said, okay, well, we'll let Aaron Rodgers handle his business. We'll let Russell Wilson handle his business because we get it, because we just went through our own situation. And so when they come back, it's like it's a chair. It's part of the culture. It's like, hey, yeah, you got your money. Guys are throwing money. Guys are bringing in gifts. It's a part of it. But the power is in when guys like Aaron Rodgers stand up and say, no, you're not going to cut Randall Cobb. That is my guy. This dude right here has been a dog for me in third down, in a 2-minute drill, in a tight red zone. I need him. Make sure you offer him a contract. And what will happen? They will offer him contract. Now they're finally listening. They're giving up concessions, and now you see Randall Cobb back. I just say this quickly, Jenna. Yeah, going back into my days with the Jets, why do I love Ryan Fitzpatrick so much? It's because of what he did for our team, what he did for that organization. We're talking about an organization that when we came in, they were talking about it was a circus, it was a mess. And then we're on the brink of going to the playoffs. We're one game away from going to the playoffs. We lose to the Buffalo Bills in the last game of the season. Oh, my goodness, bringing back bad memories. But then we go in the offseason after having an amazing year on the offensive side, and now they're trying to offer this guy backup quarterback money. That is disrespectful. Ryan Fitzpatrick was not asking for $22 million. What Ryan Fitzpatrick was asking for was $12 million. Give the man his money. And so what happened? Me and myself and Eric Decker held out for Ryan Fitzpatrick. And what ended up happening, he got his money. More players should do that. It took Aaron Rodgers 16 years to finally stand up and say, you know what? How you treated Julius Peppers was wrong. How you treated Clay Matthews was wrong. How you treated James Jones was wrong. How you treated Kuhn was wrong. And now he is giving the power back to the player. The whole conversation around player and athlete has totally changed.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.